don't think I've ever appreciated anything I've ever seen on TV until I got on Twitch, and man, lighting is a skill. Who knew? Anyway, I hear that some of you are racing this weekend. I hear some of you are going to be racing in a little place called Cape Cod this weekend. I hear some of you are going to be racing. Hey, Tom Nation, welcome to the chat. Thanks for saying hi. Just talking to my runners. They are going to be running this weekend, and I need to give them a little bit of wisdom because you know how it is right before a competition. People can freak out a little bit. Yeah, Coach MK is totally good. That's what everyone calls me. Everyone say hi. Tom Nation is Mr. Tom Nation Time is a big time celebrity, and I'm real excited that he is in the chat. He's also a strength specialist, so I might be co-streaming some things with him later on. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to talk about it, but I might need to tag in a favor for needing help for some of you super strong ladies that lift way more stuff than I do, since the only things I lift are my children on my back while I foam roll. Tom Nation Time actually lifts truly heavy things, and y'all should follow him. He's got some good stuff going on in his channel. But back to now that I get before I get like too excited with all the celebrity and up in my silly little room, I want to take a minute to talk again about this weekend where I hear some of you may or may not be running, and I've seen a lot of chatter about this in the Facebook groups, and I sort of wanted to tamp it down a little bit. Because not every single race is necessarily a competition. And not every time you run, we don't need to get something out of it every time we set out. I ran for the first time today, by the way, in 3 weeks, because I slept through the night, by the way, for the first time in 3 weeks. And it was freaking glorious. My channel is going to quickly turn into the birth control stream as people watch how I live with 4 children under the age of 6 and a husband that travels. But I digress. That's one of the reasons why I'm not running New York this year. I gave myself a little #grace because you know what? Things didn't go according to plan, but I mommed like a boss. I was a terrific parent. I am not in prison. No one is taking those kids away from me. And that is winning at life and winning at parenting. And that is my biggest priority, right? Is to live my life in a way that some court of law does not take my children away. Yay! Winning, whether or not I run a marathon, is kind of incidental. If I were to go run this marathon and not have been a good mom during this period, I'm not sure that I would be happy with that choice. And I tell you that to tell you this. Your coach is telling you I'm about to DNS yet another marathon. This will be the 6th that I have DNS. DNS means do not start. Since pretty much, I think, July of 2016. Yay. In that time, I've signed up, I've been registered for 6 marathons, and I've completed 1. Crazy, right? Now, I know what you're saying. That's a lot of money. And that's true. But I challenge you to think about it a little bit differently. Here's why. What I don't spend a whole lot of time throwing in your face, because the Google exists and you can go look my name up and see what I've done before. But before I became the coach that I wanted to hire, I was an investment banker, and I was a trader, and I was reasonably good at it. I was good enough to live in 7 countries before I turned 27 and get into a really fancy graduate school to get not 1 but 2 degrees. So the language that I speak, or what goes through my head, the framework I use to think about things, is often a super boring one. And it's that framework of economics. Don't shut the window. Don't run away just yet. Don't run away just yet. I promise, I promise, I promise. Sleep, yes. Oh my God, sleeping through the night D is so amazing. I forgot how good it is. Whoa. Anyway, what we talk about when we're evaluating anything as a banker, we have to separate ongoing costs, otherwise known as overhead, with sunk costs, which is something you have invested and you cannot get back. A good way to think of it, your car. Let's say your car costs $6,000. My car costs $6,000 because let me tell you, mommy has a poop car, and as long as people are pooping in the seats, I'm not going to be driving a nice car anywhere. So y'all can poop on the seats of a $6,000 minivan. But if your minivan costs $6,000, right, even if you have that minivan for 5 years or 10 years, it doesn't really matter. That minivan costs $6,000 cash money today. What you spent on that minivan is called a sunk cost, right? Now, don't go crazy trying to get 2 steps ahead of me here with depreciation and amortization, because none of that really, really matters right now. What matters is you cannot ask yourself, how am I going to get my $6,000 back? Because you can't. That's a sunk cost. The best you can do is hope that you get something when the time, or make decisions so that you get what you need from that minivan. And when the time comes to turn it in, maybe you get something a little bit more than the value of the scrap metal. But if you don't, that's okay, because that you can't, once you've spent it, that money's gone and you can't think about it again. And that is kind of how I want you to think about your race entry. Because back to my minivan, if that's $6,000, it informs a lot of decisions, whether I admit it or not, right? I'm not worried about where I park so much, because guess what? If someone hits my minivan, I don't care. That means I can park in a whole lot more places. If someone breaks into my minivan, I don't care. That means I don't have to invest in like a super expensive security system for my car. I don't, my kids can beg for a TV set in there all they want. I don't care. My minivan is so crappy, there's no way you could install a TV set. It's the best money I've ever spent as far as I'm concerned. So, turning angle a little bit, I want to talk about options. Now, options are crazy, hard, and they are Mathy-Math, and they are nuts, right? But if I really had to break it down for someone, an option gives you an option. That's really what it is. An option in its purest form gives you the option, and you don't have to exercise it. You don't have to do it. It just means at a specified date, you can do something at a pre-agreed upon price. That as well is a great way to look at the sunk cost of your entry fee for the race you're running this weekend. Okay? Instead of freaking out oh my God, I've got to run good because I've got to get my money's worth. And if I don't really do really well, if it rains, and oh my God, I've just thrown away, I don't know, I have no idea how much it costs because I'm not running. I just threw away $125. That is really the wrong way to look at it. It is so the wrong way to look at it. And again, remember what I was saying about my $6,000 minivan? That gets me from point A to point B. It does what I need it to do. It's an option, right? So is your race entry, man. You can't get that money back, but you don't have to run that race. You don't have to live under this pressure, and that's okay. It is the Cape Cod retreat, by the way. Most of you are running this, I think. Anyone who's watching this that is going to Cape Cod and running is probably also going to the Another Mother Runner retreat, right? You didn't sign up for this to get to go to the race. The race is the sweetener on top of the retreat, right? And you'd probably go to the retreat even if there wasn't a race happening that weekend, because it's, at the end of the day, it's about community. It's about everyone being together. It's really not about the race. I mean, yes, and I swear to you, it is possible to go through this life doing things, being the best you can be, living with a little bit of discipline and a schedule, not being miserable, and having goals. It's totally okay to have goals. It's good to have goals. I have goals. But it's not okay to lose perspective. This race, if the stress that you're putting on it is hampering your ability to enjoy the weekend, if you're turning down the free wine or the whiskey that might be showing up, I don't know. You never know when I show up somewhere that whiskey might follow. Woo! Just saying. If there's a drink and you're turning it down because you're racing the next day, or you miss a good time because you want to go to bed early, I would kind of question you a little bit. The best case scenario, if you're rested and everything goes well, is X number. If you stay out an hour later, eat a little extra stuff, I mean, yeah, your race could go wrong, but what if it doesn't? What if the race goes wrong anyway? It's supposed to rain this weekend, and you're like, you know what? That was a disaster. I should have stayed up later last night. This might not be the time to treat it like an A race, right? This is a retreat. It's about getting one-on-one time with me. It's getting to give me a hug. It's getting, getting to see in person how deaf I actually am in my left ear, and how awkward I can actually be in large rooms when I can't hear anything, because that's always funny to watch big, loud, confident MK go I don't know what's going on right now. Yay. And also to not go for a run with me and get lost because my sense of direction is the only part of me that's worse than my hearing in my left ear. Yay! I wish there was a word for it, by the way. You can't make fun of someone who can't read if they're dyslexic, right? Because that's just really rude. There's no word for my lack of direction. or at least not one that's widely enough recognized that I can be like, hey, don't make fun of me. I have whatever. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, so that is the thing I wanted to communicate. Whatever you spent on this weekend was not about the race, it was about the retreat, and the race is a cherry on top. Don't assign it more value than it warrants, or than it is worth, right? It's an option if you feel like it to go out there and test your fitness. And maybe you'll get what you deserve, and maybe you won't. It really doesn't have as much to do with you as you would like to think it is. You can't control the weather, and you can't control all the factors. And you know what? If you decide to stay up a little bit late doing a little more yoga with Carrie, that's not a bad idea. If you decide to stay up a little bit late because Coach MK decides that she wants to stream her foam rolling session live, and some really cool celebrity Twitchers come into the room and y'all want to hang out and talk and then go play with Twitch and see what that is, again, not time wasted. So don't worry about what that race is or what it costs. It's a sunk cost that you can't get back, and what you purchased is an option to go do something at a specified point in time. Don't inflate the importance of that event above everything else you're going to do this weekend, and I promise you it's going to be a really great time. I hate to be leaving you guys on Friday. I really do. I wish I could stay the whole weekend, but hashtag mom life. I just can't. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say right now. I'm hiding from my monsters. I forgot that all three have the day off from school today, and the baby is napping right now, and I have bribed them all with ice cream outside, and I'm quite sure that is going to go tits up any minute now, so I need to get back out there. I just wanted to come and emphasize to you guys that don't worry about this race. It's a sunk cost. And by definition, you can't think about sunk costs, and you cannot make decisions based on sunk costs. What you can say is, I've put all the money and worry into this race that I can, and it's not going to get a cent more. You heard that from an MBA? Just saying, and you got this for free. You're coached. You are loved. And if you are excited about this weekend, more excited than you are stressed, there's nothing to be stressed about. You are winning at life. Let's see. Yeah, I am. I'm celiac. It sucks. I'm totally allergic to whiskey. You love minivans. Combination time. Bless your heart. I don't know why. Bless your terrible judgment. Yay! 2 nights before the 10K, Sarah invited over a friend for delicious dinner and wine. That's genius. Yay! The option phrasing is so important. DRE27, I put that exact advice into practice at Zuma, Amelia Island last weekend because of record high temps. Still had a great race. There you go. So a race can be great even if the finish time isn't. It's about showing up, it's about having that option, and it's about being ready to do it. And you know what? If you're ready, but the weather isn't, cool. If, the weather's ready, but something just is off, cool. You don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. And there's nothing more freeing than that phrase. Then when that bully looks you in the face and says, like, if you don't do this, I won't be your friend anymore. And you're like, so what? And it freaks them out because you've just taken away their power. It's kind of amazing. So what we're doing with I don't have to do this is we're taking away the power that this event might be having over your stress levels. Because, man, what are you going to do for the first 2 days if all you're doing is worrying about what might happen at that race on the third day? Yo, that's not what this is all about. It's about being coached and loved and having a whole lot of fun with some other runners in Cape Cod. Yay! All right, I'm going to go feed the monsters and clean the ice cream off the fence I'm sure my neighbors are real excited they put up now. Yay! Bye.